What's up, peeps? Um, Started reading Bridge Across Forever again. I actually had taken a break from it for a while because, well, I was tired and I really didn't have time to read, I guess, school and everything like that. But, I feel like for someone who doesn't read that often, I've gotten pretty far. It doesn't look like it to you, maybe readers out there, but for me, a person who just does not know how to focus on books very long, I think I'm doing pretty good. But it is a very good book, so maybe that's what it is. I went out and bought some herb plants. It's Saturday, Sunday right now. Yeah, this week I don't have to start at 5 a.m. anymore, but I have to start at 5:30 a.m. So it's gonna be an interesting week. It's probably going to be a lot better than it was starting at 5 a.m., but still not any better because it's only a half hour later, right? To be honest, right? Um, so, let's see. I honestly have had such a hard time thinking of ideas to talk about, but I thought that maybe we would talk about a subject, and really it just came to my mind as just an idea. But how about we talk about it kind of is something more so not just in like the lesbian community or the gay community, because a lot of people do it all the time, but I thought maybe we'd talk about cheating. A lot of people do it, right? It happens. I am not one of those people who condones it whatsoever. I'm not gonna be like, well, you're such a bad person for doing it, but I'm also probably gonna be like, look, you obviously have some issues you need to work out. For reals though. Um, I have never, okay, I won't say never because before I came out, I dated two men at the same time. Um, I guess that's considered cheating. I never slept with any one of them, nor did I want either one of them. And really, I don't even think I kissed either one of them. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I know that's still considered cheating, but I was confused on my gayness. We'll go with that. Um, but no, as far as women go, I've never actually cheated on a woman. And actually, in all honesty, I actually think that it is more looked down upon to cheat on a woman than it is a man. Not saying that either one is better, but if you look at it this way, women are more emotional. They're also more inclined to fall in love. They're also more inclined to not cheat on their boyfriends. Well, that's not necessarily true either. But in a way, if you think about it, it is. It is technically looked down upon. Like if you were to cheat on a woman, it is kind of shitty. I've talked about this with my gay roommate before too, because when you say it out loud, it does seem like, oh, well, it's still shitty either way. And it is. It is shitty either way. But a lot of the times, women will date multiple men at the same time, just as men will date multiple women at the same time. But women are more inclined to actually have an attachment than a man would. And so if a man were to date multiple women and not really be open about it, and then one of them finds out, they would be really upset, right? Now, if a woman did it, the guy would probably be like, well, that's cool. Hopefully you like me more. I mean, not always, but in an idea, like in the idea of, when you look at it, most circumstances, the men will probably not necessarily be as hurt by it. And that it does probably have to do with the fact that women are more emotional. But then again, there are men out there that are emotional as well. So, I mean, it's not right in any way, shape, or form, might I say. But I think that if I had been straight, I probably would have been more inclined to do it. Um, if that sounds bad, I don't know. Um, but I think that I definitely would have dated multiple men at the same time or something of the sort. I have had times where I have dated, a couple of girls at the same time. I'm pretty open when I am talking to more than one girl. I usually am like, oh, well, by the way, I'm also still talking to other people. But, like when I really like someone, if I'm just starting to talk to them and it shouldn't mean anything, right? Um, but I don't really do this anymore, anyways. But, back in a time. But when I really like someone, I focus on them. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, well, I'm still gonna date these other chicks though. No, no, I'm not gonna do that. If I like someone, I focus on them, and I focus on them because I want to get to know them because I like them. And if I'm getting to know multiple girls at the same time, when I really like one of them, then I'm probably going to get them all mixed up. And I ain't even gonna lie about that. That's probably one of the reasons why, even if I were straight, I could cheat maybe one time, but I'd probably get caught. And I ain't even gonna lie about that either. Because, to be honest, I'm not really good at making sure I remember everyone in their place. I mean, like, if I've known you for years or I've known you for a good amount of time, I will remember all kinds of things about you and know that it's about you and not other people that I know. But if I just met you and just met these other girls or whatever, it probably would get mixed up, or guys or whatever. I would totally get mixed up. It would be like, your birthday was when? Or, your favorite color was which one of those? I just thought I'd ask again. I mean, cheating is not something that I ever condoned. I don't think it's right no matter what. And, I had my young and stupid days. I did drugs, I did stupid shit. And when I talk about the fact that maybe I would have been that kind of person if I were straight, it would have been back in those days. And when I talk about the fact that I've dated a couple of girls at the same time, that was also more so back in those days. I mean, there's a time where you're just, especially with online dating, you're messaging a couple of people at the same time because who knows, one of them may disappear. It happens all the time, people ghost and do all that stuff. So you never really know if they're going to stick around. So yes, I have talked to, at the beginning stage, maybe one or two girls at the same time. And still I'm not really talking to anyone at this point, and I really am not interested in being with anyone or trying to talk to anyone or anything of that sort. At this point in time, I need to do me, and I need to do the things that I need to do for myself. And I have goals, and when I'm in a relationship, I spend so much money on the person that I'm with, and I do so many things and focus so much of my attention on them, that right now I think what I really need is, I'm saving up to go to Greece. I've already got I think almost $1,300 or so to go there, and then I also have all these other things that I've been doing for myself as well that I just I need it. I'm not interested in anything, and that's okay, right? But yes, there have been times where I have done that. So back to that portion. Now, I mean, I know that everyone does that though, especially with online dating. It's not like you send a message to one person and expect that they're definitely going to respond. I mean, at that point, you're kind of like, well, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. Whatever. I can talk to someone else. And if you get a response from a couple of people at the same time, you get to know them, and then you see which one you're more fascinated with, right? That's how it's supposed to go. And that is totally how it's supposed to go. Now, if you met someone in a bar and you got their number and they called you and you started dating, I mean, I think that those kinds of ways, it's a lot different because, then it's like, oh, well, I really like this person. I've already gotten to know them already. I'm going to focus on them. That's a little bit different. And profiles aren't always the best knowledge on a person. That's something I learned in one of my classes, actually. Currently, I am taking an ethics class. It's very interesting, actually. And ethically, it is all wrong. All of it. All of this bullshit. Cheating. Probably talking to multiple people at the same time is probably ethically wrong. But there's so many different concepts to ethics that it's just kind of interesting. Like, ethically, I mean, most people will know what's right or wrong. I think the best way that people used to actually be able to know what was right or wrong was by your virtues, But then there were so many different ethical virtues, that people kind of like got confused on what would be right for one person would be wrong for another. And so then there comes utilitarianism, which utilitarianism is basically using the utility, or, oh goodness, how do you explain this one? It was, because the utility's in it. But it's pretty much making sure that the greater good comes out of your choices. And not just the good of yourself, but the good of everyone. So using the utility to the best advantage of everyone involved. And then there was deontology, which I find very fascinating because I really did not think of this as ethically in any way. But deontology pretty much explains that because utilitarianism is basically the consequences. It focuses on the consequences of your actions. But then when you come around to thinking about that not all consequences are immediately bad or are bad in general, because some people get away with things, right? So in deontology, what it explains is that it's more than just looking at your consequences or the actions of everything that you do for because the consequences, they have to be for everyone in utilitarianism, right? They have to basically make everyone, I don't know, there's more to that than that. But it focuses on the consequences in utilitarianism. But in deontology, it actually goes into the idea that a person can steal from you and their consequences are not going to be the same as yours. Why? Because you just lost what they gained. So their consequences became better than what happened to you. But still ethically, morally, it was wrong for them to steal, right? And it's not because the consequences made them actually better, but because what they did was wrong. They disrespected you as a human being. And that is the same thing with cheating. Goes basically into deontology, because yes, they are winning and they're getting away with it, and they feel like they are actually doing something amazing, that they're getting so much out of it, right? But it's hurting everyone else, right? Basically, it's the same thing. And here's the thing, and I have said this before, a cheater only cheats because they're insecure. They need to find love from someone else constantly. And if they can't be satisfied with one person, that is how insecure they are, is that they need to get that satisfaction from multiple people at the same time. And they may act and seem like they're totally confident, but here's the thing, is that everyone else is feeding that confidence instead of themselves. And that right there is completely insecure. And, I don't go out there and walk like, oh, I can get any of these girls. Like, I make jokes about it, and hey, I can. I mean, I'm a jokester in general. but I'm not one of those people who thinks that every girl walking around wants me. Because honestly, I don't think that. And I don't need them to want me either. That's the greatest part. I don't need them to want me. Um, I'm happy enough having one person for the rest of my life that wants me, and I want them. And I can get satisfaction from that. I can get plenty of satisfaction from that. And I don't even need one person. I mean, obviously, I'm single, not worried about being with anyone. I don't even need that one person. You know why? Because I can love myself. I don't need someone else to make me feel better about who I am. And that is something that is definitely wrong with my generation. No offense to a lot of people out there, but think about it. How many of you have been single for a very long time? Not many. And why is that? Because we have to get that satisfaction from someone else. We have to feel beautiful about ourselves because someone else finds us beautiful. And we have to love ourselves because someone else loves us. And my generation, we're fucked up in that way. I am not even going to lie about that. I have gone through phases where I needed that satisfaction. And so I do understand why my generation is that way. I've gone through many phases of that. It's why I dated so much for so long, in fact. It sucks. It does. And I'm not even going to lie. It's hard to get out of. But here's the thing is that the only way to get out of it is to just stop. It's not an easy concept because everyone, addiction is really hard to just stop. There's no real cure for this, okay? So, in the end, I mean, we all just need to love ourselves. And this is something that I am trying so hard to teach so many people out there. But at the same time, I am trying so hard to learn myself. I have come to love myself. I have come to hate myself before too. And I've come to be down on myself. I am the hardest on myself out of anyone in the world. I am the hardest on myself. Why is that? Because I know myself so well that I know better than to do certain things. But I also know that I am a good person. I'm a great person. I'm beautiful inside and out. And I don't need someone else to tell me that. I really don't. And if you think that you do need someone else to tell you that, I mean, stay around and constantly tell you that, because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you it. But you don't need me to stand by you and tell you it, because you need to realize it for yourself. The worst thing that anyone can ever do to themselves is seek that kind of self-confidence, self-love from everyone else. That's why they call it self-confidence and self-love. You need to find it within, not seek without. And everyone in this world has dealt with insecurities and times of needing to seek outward for that love. But I do think that we all have to realize it for ourselves, really, but we do have to find it within. And yes, my generation is fucked up in the way that it's probably going to be harder for us to find it within. And I know that everyone out there is constantly in a relationship, constantly in a new relationship, constantly with someone, dating someone, or multiple people, or whatever they need to do. Stop. That's not helping. It's It's not helping you. It isn't. It's bringing you down even worse. And you may think that, oh my gosh, though, I don't know any other way, or I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not that way. It's cool. If you're not that way, that's cool. But if you walk out that door to go on a date with some other person right after I said this, and you went on a date just last week with another person or whatever, you are that way. So don't try to pretend that you're not, because you are. And you can hide from it all you want. But it's going to keep coming back up, right? It's going to keep coming back up. And honestly, no relationship will ever work until you love yourself. Love yourself full and complete, because they can love you and you not know it, and then your insecurities will get right in the way of that relationship. And then as soon as the moment comes where you need to defend yourself in the right way, or they walk away because they're too tired of it, who are you going to be at the end of that? Who are you going to be? Are you going to love who you are? Or are you going to hate the fact that you didn't listen to me? I mean, confidence is a hard thing to find. It's also a hard thing to keep balanced, because yes, we know a lot of people out there act a little bit higher confidently. But I can tell you this, if you're a little egotistical, you're insecure. You're compensating for something that you don't want people to know about. But the balance is this: knowing that you are an amazing person, but also knowing that you're not perfect. No one is, and no one should be. No one should have to be perfect. Because why? We're human. And who gives a fuck about the rest of that shit? Who gives a fuck? I don't want to be perfect. If I was perfect, I'd be living up to this fairy tale that I am just doing everything right. But then I'd be never learning anything. Because if I did everything right, then where's the lesson in life? Right? There's no lesson. There was no lesson to be learned in that. But there's a lesson to be learned in every mistake that I've made. Every mistake I've made has brought me to who I am today. Every person that I mistakenly was in a relationship with brought me to who I am. Every person that hurt me in my life, every person I hurt in my life, they brought me to who I am. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect right now, but I am saying that I'm happy with who I am right now. And I may not be perfectly happy right now, because yeah, I still have some things I need to work out. But at least I'm getting there. And at least I know that I can be with myself, just happily and complete. And whatever things you think that you are hiding from, or whatever is keeping you from being with yourself, just yourself, those are probably the things you need to confront first. Because those are the things that are tearing you down right now. So with that, I think this video has gone long enough. But just remember that no matter what I say right now, it doesn't mean that you're any less of a person. It does not make you any less of a person. The thing is that, again, you're human. You make a mistake, and we all will. And I'm not saying that you're a bad person. I'm just saying that you need to learn to love yourself. And that's not a bad thing to say to someone. Because if you can say it in the right way and explain it in the right way, it means well. And maybe there's just someone that needed to hear that. And hopefully whoever watches this is the right people that needed to hear this. Because with everything we have in this world, Loving ourselves should not be the last thing that we come around to. Should not be. And I want to say again, stay beautiful, because you are. And you always will be. Give me a sign, take my hand, we'll be fine. Promise I won't let you down. Just know that you don't have to do this alone. Promise I'll never let you down. 'Cause I know I can treat you better than he can. And any girl like you deserves a gentleman. Tell me why we wasting time. I know you wasted crime when you should be with me instead. I know I can treat you better